which cruise line has the worst food? It's our most viewed post on our Kids Travel Tales TikTok channel, with almost 1,000 people commenting. The resounding winners, or should I say losers in this case, were MSC and Norwegian cruise lines with the worst cruise food. On Royal Caribbean and Carnival Cruise Line, viewers were split more 50-50. So I thought, let's bring in someone who can really answer this question. She's been on Carnival, Royal Caribbean, and MSC and has a lot to say about the food on all three cruise lines. Today, we're talking to Danielle of Happy Travel Mama, and we start off with a very cute kids interview between Paloma and Jace. Jason, Danielle, thank you so much for joining us today. Paloma is going on her first cruise soon.
I want to go on the slide.
You want to go on the water slide?
No.
The big slide in the kids club?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that would be so fun. Well, yeah, his favorite thing on the big boats. What's your favorite thing? Are you going to tell him or mommy tell him?
No.
He's being a little shy, but his favorite thing is the arcade. And
Ooh.
so all day, every day. Which
All
we
right.
can go to anywhere, but that's
Exactly. I know that would be her favorite thing too. Now, I read on your website, Danielle, that Jace is one of 5 siblings. Is that correct?
Yes. So I have 3 children of my own, and then I have 2 stepsons. So there's 5 total, and 4 of them are boys, and my youngest is a girl.
Oh, wow. Do they all have different types of vacations that they prefer, or is cruising their favorite vacation no matter where you guys are going?
Now, probably cruising is all of their favorites. I actually asked them this year, I was like, do you guys want to do Disney this year, or do you want to go on a cruise? Like, what do you want to do? And Jason's like, the big boat. And, my 12-year-old wanted to do the cruise, and then the 17-year-old wanted to do the cruise. They're all pretty big on cruising for sure.
Oh my gosh. So let's start with telling me a little bit about how your family got into cruising.
Yeah, so first cruise that I ever went on was actually my honeymoon. So I'm going to have a brain fart, but I think we've been married 8 years now. So 8 or 9 years ago, we went on I'm Laura's.
It goes so fast. I don't remember either.
Keep up with.
Love
right?
you, Chris.
So we went on our first cruise for our honeymoon. We actually did Carnival. That was my first cruise I ever did. And I was like hooked after that. I loved it. At that time, we had our, my 2 stepsons, and then I had my 12-year-old now. At the time, I think he was like 4 when he went on his first cruise. And then, it's kind of history from there.
How many Carnival cruises would you estimate you all have done?
Carnival specifically, I think probably 10 or 11.
Wow.
Some of those were just me and my husband, and then some with my kids. I think Jace, the one that you met earlier, he's been on, I think, 4 cruises, and he's like 4, so I think that's crazy. And then my oldest son, Braden, the 12-year-old, I think he's been on like 6 or something like that. So they've been on a good chunk of them with us. And then, of course, we do a mom and dad's cruise every once in a while.
Why do you all love Carnival as a cruise destination?
Just at the Carnival, I like Carnival a lot just because that's where I started with. And so honestly, I think a lot of cruisers feel like whatever cruise line you go with, if you had a really good experience, you always have like a connection, a draw to that cruise line. I do feel like Carnival is really good for kids. They're very children centered. They have the Seuss at Sea. They have the Seuss at Sea breakfast. They have a parade with like the Dr. Seuss characters. They have a time you can do pictures and are very fun. So it's just a good cruise line for really anybody, especially if you have small children.
You brought up the kids club, so I have to talk about this.
Yeah.
One of our first episodes, part of the episode, we talked about a family's experience on a Carnival cruise, and they basically described the kids club as a glorified iPad lounge. They said the counselors really weren't engaging them. The kids were just all on iPads the entire time. I will preface this by saying they were on one of Carnival's older ships. So tell me a little bit more about your kids' experience in the kids club. Do you find that the kids clubs on the newer ships are very different than the older ships?
I think my 12-year-old was like 10 or 11 the last time that he went. Now he like thinks he's too old and cool for it. But last time he went, though, he was like bummed that they didn't get to play video games more. Like he said, it was more like organized activities and games, and like they might get like 45 minutes of free play to do video games, and then they're on to another activity and things like that. So I've never gotten that vibe that sitting there on technology or not interacting. You know, they do so many things. I remember when he was younger, my oldest, he was younger. We went on a cruise. I think he was probably 5 at this time, and it was so funny. We were like in Puerto Rico, and he did not even want to get off the ship and go to Puerto Rico with us because he loved camp that much and did not want to leave. Like I could not pull that kid out of camp, which is funny because like I said, now he's my one that doesn't want to go. But he absolutely loved it. They we went in the theater, they put a show on for us. It was just honestly, I've always had, you know, a good experience with it.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Do you feel like there's a big difference between Carnival's newer and older ships?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think it's funny because I think until you go on one of the newer ships, you don't really know what you're missing. And then when you
Mm,
go on the newer ships with any of the cruise lines, it's like harder to go back to the older ships. So it's hard because it's like I don't want to say that any of the ships are bad because they're not. Like
yeah.
for only ever did the older ships and I love them. But now on an older ship because it has a better itinerary or something, I'm like, you know, it's not as great as, you know, these bigger ones or whatever. So it's kind of funny. But I think if you're going on one of the older ships, you're still gonna have a blast and you're still gonna get that similar experience.
So what's the most important factor these days when you're planning a cruise, particularly for a family with 5 kids? Is it the itinerary? Is it the newer ships with the newer amenities, or is it just school schedules and price at this point?
I mean, I think a little bit of everything goes into
Yeah.
play for me, but I would say a big part of it is the ship
Okay.
because with the kids, like I think when it's like me and my husband going on a cruise, like the ports are more important to me. But when I'm going with my kids, like the ship is more important to me because I want them to have a lot to do and things to see. Vista is the one we're doing next with the kids, and so
Yeah.
it's not like, you know, one of the new mega ships, but it's still one of the newer ships and has some of those added things. I just think it's more fun for them. But obviously price goes into effect as well. I think it's crazy like with certain cruise lines that their mega ships are like twice the price as their regular ships.
MSC too. I was looking at some of the prices there and my eyes were like popping out of the head, the difference between World America and like Seascape. And we'll definitely get into MSC. Real quick though. You've been on 10 Carnival cruises. Which Carnival ship is your favorite and which has been your least favorite?
Oh gosh. My
I know it's
least
like asking you to pick children.
my least favorite is probably Carnival Sunshine.
Mhm.
I've been on the Carnival Sunshine twice.
Yeah.
I even tried to give it another try, you know, to see if I like it better. It's just a really small ship, and the way that they had redid it like some years back, and the way that they have it lined up is just it's just really crammed, and it just didn't work. Like it just feels very crowded on there,
Mhm.
and they don't have as many like food options as some of the other ships do. So overall, it's just not my favorite for sure. And then as far as my favorite Carnival ship, probably Horizon, which is similar to the
Oh.
yeah, I think I like the 3D theater, like IMAX theater, and just some of the features that they have on there. But to be fair, I have not done like one of Carnival's like newest ships, like the Celebration, or those yet. So you know that may change if I want to do one of the bigger ships with Carnival.
Fair disclaimer, fair disclaimer. What port do you usually sail out of for Carnival?
So I live in North Carolina, and so I mean normally we probably sell the most out of Port Canaveral, honestly, which is crazy
Okay.
all the way in Florida. But we did go out of Charleston a couple of times, but then they ended up closing Charleston down, and then they do Norfolk, which we went on last year for our Bermuda cruise. I will say, and I'm sure it's probably similar with New York as it is Norfolk, that the water was a lot rougher than it is going out of Florida, and I think that's or we have way more waves and things like that. But like our cruise to Bermuda from Virginia was like the roughest as far as the water goes that we've been on.
What is one of the biggest misconceptions people have about Carnival?
One of the biggest misconceptions about cruising in general, but I think especially Carnival gets this rap for some reason, is that it's not safe, especially like with the Amy Bradley, Netflix documentary they did, and then that girl that recently something happened with, with her brother on the cruise, and then like the kids falling overboard. I think that we'll get this consensus, like this fear, like this is dangerous, and especially Carnival, it's just like the rough cruise of the sea and whatever, and it's just not. You have to think about it in the perspective that like 2 million people a month go cruising,
Mhm.
and how many people that have incidents happen. I feel so comfortable having my kids on the cruise line. Now, I'm not like free for all, go do what you want, but we have a good time. I don't feel like I'm worried the whole time or I'm fearing of something happening to anybody. Me and my friend, went on a girls' cruise, just us. a couple months ago, and I felt totally safe. I felt totally fine. So it's definitely not something that you feel uneasy about. And I hate that the media, especially, is kind of given that perspective.
Mhm. This perspective of cruising in general or to Carnival in general?
I think cruising in general, but I think Carnival especially gets that rap that it's just like, dangerous and unsafe, and that you hear that there's like fights all the time and just crazy stuff. Like it's not like that. Like I said, I've done 10 Carnival cruises, and anybody have like a physical altercation or anything like that.
Absolutely. And I will say this about safety as well. If you've got younger kids, you gotta watch them. Like,
Right.
and this yeah, I mean, like, my toddler was sometimes still climb up on the banister over the grand hall. You gotta keep an eye on them, whether you're inside by a grand hall or outside by the ocean. I mean, it's unfortunate, but at that age, you still gotta watch them until they can be old enough to have
And that's
better
any
common sense. Although I was saying the
uh,
you're putting teenagers up there for having good judgment either. I mean, that's it's a good point.
yeah.
So, you recently tried your first MSC cruise. Tell me a little bit about that.
I loved it. I was kind of hesitant because I hadn't really heard a lot about MSC until I did, like, right before I was getting ready to go on the cruise. I started like reading some things. And I was surprised. Like, I feel like I read a lot of like negative things about MSC, like that the food wasn't good, that, it was just a bad crowd and the customer service wasn't good, and just, all these different things. And I did not experience that at all. The moment that we walked on the ship, it was beautiful. I think we were on Seashore, and I think it's only like a few years old, so it is a newer ship, and it was huge. I would probably compare it to like Allure of the Seas on Royal Caribbean. Maybe not quite, but it's probably about as big as that one. And the food was really, really good. My friend's actually only the one that went with me. She's only ever been on Carnival. She's been on one Carnival cruise, so this was her second cruise, and she said that she thought MSC's food was better
Oh,
than
wow.
yeah, and I don't know that I agree with that overall. I love some Carnival pizza and their guys burgers. If you know, you know. So I'm not saying that I think that, but their main dining room food, I would say I thought was better. Customer service was good. We actually multiple times got like free drinks. Like they would just be like,
Oh,
"Oh,
wow.
don't worry about it." Like they were just super nice and laid back. Even the main dining room, I felt like on Carnival sometimes I get stuck like waiting to get in and waiting for service and la, and it was like super quick. I mean, I can't think of anything really negative to say about it.
Wow. Wait. So you said the service in MSC on the main dining room was faster than Carnival?
Yes.
Wow. Because a lot of things what you see on the cruise vlogs, the big complaint about MSC's main dining room is it's too slow.
Yeah, somebody else said that,
Yeah.
and they went on the seashore, and I was like, I mean, I've never been in and out of a main dining room so fast in my life.
Wow. Okay. No, that's great. No, that's great to hear. What about the kids clubs? Did you utilize the kids clubs
No,
at
so this was
MSC?
just like a girls cruise, so we left the
Okay.
home for this one. But I did go around, like, look at them, and I mean, they looked similar to Carnival, like super fun. They had like slides and different things the kids could do.
Mhm.
Also, I thought was really cute, and I've never noticed this on another cruise ship. So if I'm wrong, maybe they do have it. I haven't seen it, but they had like a kids only buffet in
Yeah.
the main dining room or in the main buffet area. It was so cute. Like it was like down lower, and they had like kid specific things like burgers and macaroni and cheese and like cute little desserts. So I thought that was
Aw.
really cool. They had like a whole indoor like water park for kids that had like little slides, and I would love to take my kids on one for sure. I was already thinking that.
So our current most popular post of all time on the Kids Travel Tales TikTok page with over 65,000 views is what cruise line has the worst food? I thought it was going to be Royal Caribbean. The unanimous answer seems to be either Norwegian or MSC. Do you think that reputation is deserved? It
No,
sounds like no.
change something. I'm wondering that too because I'm just like so blown away that everybody's saying this. And even on MSC's island, I think it's like Ocean, I never say this right, Ocean K or Ocean Key, whatever one you want to call
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
They had like the included buffet, and I thought the food was so good. Like when we went to I think it was Half Moon Cay on Carnival, I just felt like the burgers were like kind of burnt, and it just I don't know, it just wasn't that great. And on this one I thought food was amazing. They had jerk chicken and homemade macaroni and cheese. It was amazing from the ship to the private island included food. I didn't think the pizza was as good as probably Carnival or Sorrento's on Royal Caribbean. And some of those little things.
What do you think Royal does better than Carnival or MSC? Why did your family venture into Royal as well?
Royal Caribbean, what they do better is probably just their newer ships. Their newer ships are like next level. They
Yeah.
have carousels and, Central Park. And I mean, they're just kind of blow you away. And then as far as like the activities that are included, even before they count these mega ships, they always had like the rock climbing. They had the wave rider. My 12-year-old loves that. The surf simulation. So I just think that overall they probably have a little bit more things to do like on the ship and as far as the ship overall than I've noticed with Carnival and even MSC now.
So between Carnival, MSC, and Royal, which cruise line has the best entertainment for kids?
The best entertainment, I would say Carnival.
Carnival. Why Carnival?
Because they do, like I said, that Seuss parade and they
Okay.
characters down and things like that. So as far as like entertainment to me would be like shows and like interactive things. They have the towel animal folding classes. So yeah, as far as activities, I would say World, but entertainment, I would say Carnival.
Gotcha. Best food. Let's start with best pool deck food.
Full deck food, probably Carnival.
Okay. Best main dining.
I guess Royal Caribbean.
Wow. Okay. Royal Caribbean for the best main dining. Would Royal Caribbean win for specialty dining too?
I would probably say Carnival for specialty dining.
Really? Do you have a favorite Carnival specialty dining restaurant?
We did the chef's table one time and it was amazing.
Wow. Best pool deck for kids.
Overall, I would say Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean. Best private island.
Oh, that's hard. With kids, I would say Royal Caribbean's Coco Cay.
Mhm.
Without kids, I might even go with MSC's Ocean, whatever it is I just went to. Ocean Case.
Gotcha. Best room layout for young families.
The best room layout, I would choose Carnival just
Mhm.
because they have the like the family suites now. So a lot of like some of their newer ships have like I think it's on deck two, but it's like all four families and you can get like an actual suite that has like a washroom and the actual bathroom. And then some of them even have like a little bunk bed set up. And then you're also like get private access to like a different little breakfast area that's just for people in that room and things like that. So I just think for kid wise, that's really cool that Carnival offers that. And I think they kind of cater to that.
Let's talk before we wrap up really quickly about some tips for traveling with large families because you got 5 kids. You're my new hero. Do you have any packing strategies for managing that many clothes, shoes, swimsuits?
It's a nightmare. Like every time we go somewhere with the kids, like when we first started traveling a lot with the kids, I would pack everybody their own cute little suitcase and
Mhm.
la la la. And as times went on, like I don't do that. Usually we have two giant suitcases that we have wheels on that we try to condense everything. I try to be like really organized about it. If we're gonna stay at a hotel on the way to the port, if we're driving, I'll have a separate hotel bag. So just
Yeah.
logistically trying to make it as easy as you possibly can on yourself. The less bags we have to carry is the better because these children are not going to carry the bags. They're going to whine. They're going to be like, I need help, whatever.
And it sounds like you're booking like a family suite room on
We've
Carnival?
done that. I don't remember what it's called. The Family Harbor, I think is what it's called.
Mhm.
Carnival. And so it's actually not that expensive. It's not really like a suite per se. It's just a little bit more, and they have ocean and interior. So we've done that on Carnival, and those are really cool. We've done interior rooms, like just regular interior rooms with connecting doors. We've done ocean view, and then me and my husband have done the balcony, but we've never taken the kids on the balcony because usually with 5 kids, you can't just go to one room. You have to usually get 2 rooms if we're bringing everybody. So yeah, a lot of the times we'll do the connecting rooms, which are really nice because the older boys feel like they're so cool. They have their own space, but they're still like right there with us and stuff. So that tends to work best for us. You can do the suites, but it's just it tends to be more expensive that way.
That makes a lot of sense. It sounds like you guys are driving, but when you guys do fly as part of a vacation, do you have any strategies for finding the best rates as a family of 5?
Yeah, so I really love Allegiant. Allegiant Air, they are limited on like where they go and stuff, so you have to look depending on where you're needing to travel from and to. But they are really big on Florida. Like they go to Orlando, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and they are super affordable. If you book it like in advance, you can even get tickets for like $50, $60 a person at times.
Danielle, thank you so much again for joining us today. I feel like I have learned so much about Carnival Cruise Line. Before we let you go, we're going to wrap up with a little game we like to call Final Boarding Call, some quick hit questions to wrap up the episode. Let's
Okay.
start with your travel essential for a cruise vacation.
My lanyard, I always have to have a lanyard. I'm one of those people.
Oh.
Other people don't care about having that, but I think it's really nice to be able to have your card with you around your neck. So I definitely have to have that. I like to bring a fan because there's no noise or anything in the rooms. So it's nice to have some like air movement and a little bit of noise in the background. And if you're going on Carnival or Royal Caribbean, I always bring soda. Guilty bad habit. I love Dr Pepper. And so that's a way to save some money is if you want to bring like a case of soda and you can bring a bottle of wine. MSC you could not, but if you go on Carnival, Royal Caribbean, that's definitely a must pack for me.
That's so interesting. I didn't know that MSC didn't have the one bottle of wine
Uh,
on.
that was a bummer.
Really? No, 'cause I mean, even Disney does that. What if's the number one cruise line on your list to try next, if money wasn't an object?
Probably Disney. Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah,
I love Disney anyway, and I love cruising. So Disney cruise, I mean that's like a no brainer.
absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. If you could only book one cruise line tomorrow between MSC, Carnival, and Royal Caribbean, which one are you booking?
If I had to pick right now, I would say Royal Caribbean. I'd love to go.
Oh, okay. And what is your bucket list family travel destination?
I would love to go to Italy and Paris. Like we're definitely trying to, plan. So a little different than my normal. So we're gonna plan a couple years in advance. But I would love to take the kids just see like a different culture and a truly different side of the world. If that would be really cool.
European cruise, Carnival and Royal Caribbean do
Yes,
and obviously MSC. There you go. Exactly. Danielle, thank you so much again. Manifesting that European cruise for you and love and safe travels, and give my thanks to Jace as well.
yes, thank you, and I hope y'all enjoy your cruise. And it was great talking to you.
Produced by Kids Travel Tales. Kids Travel Tales podcast is independently produced and not affiliated with any company, organization, or product mentioned in this episode.